Hi everybody, Dr. Jayne Bellando here, and I want to take a minute or two to talk about three things that probably all of us are feeling right now and kind of make a distinction between them. The idea of worry and fear and anxiety. And my guess is that everybody has had these feelings and probably a lot recently. One of the things that sometimes can be a little surprising is that worry isn't a bad thing, because worry is that ability to think about things that are coming ahead of us, and things that we're going to have to take care of. In some ways, this is wonderful because it gives us time to think it through before it actually is there and help us problem solve. And it's a good thing for us to be able to do that. One of the hard parts, though, is that if you're worrying at times when you're not able to do much about something. Certainly, I know for me, sometimes that's at 2 o'clock in the morning when I wake up and think, oh my gosh, I should have done this or that or the other. That's when I try to make a note, or at least think about it in my head and then try to go back to sleep. But the idea of worry is not such a bad thing is an important thing to think about. Fear is, you guys have probably heard that term fight or flight, when there's an imminent threat in front of you and it's something that is dangerous and you've got to deal with that immediately. We feel our heart racing, we feel the adrenaline rushing, the cortisol rushing in our body because we've got to take care of ourselves and get ourselves out of this threatening situation. Also is a good thing. For our ancestors, if there was a tiger or something coming at us, or if we have a car coming at us, if we cross the street wrong, that fear is going to help hopefully save our lives. Unfortunately, what happens for many of us, especially we're in the time of COVID, that fear is there all the time. So our body is always sort of in that alarm mode, and that's when we start having trouble thinking. We feel our heart beating fast, having trouble eating, because we always feel like we're right in the middle of an alarm system. The last one is anxiety. And anxiety is that idea that something dreadful is going to happen, that we're having a hard time knowing what it is and having a hard time of controlling it. I think for many of us right now in the time of COVID, there's a lot of worries that we have. We don't know whether they'll come true or not, but they are upsetting to us. When we think about how do we deal with this? How do we help ourselves feel better? Maybe one of the things that you can do is stop for a second and try to figure out, is this worry? Is there something imminently dangerous for you? Or is this anxiety? Because I think right now all of us are having all of those. Some simple techniques to be able to use is to take a breath. When our body is in that fear mode, we're having a hard time breathing. We're having a hard time settling our body down. So taking a couple of breaths can be really, really helpful. The other thing that can be very important is just trying to be in the moment. I know sometimes that's hard when your mind is racing ahead, but the ability to see what's in front of you can also be very, very calming. Another thing, and this takes a little bit more time, is trying to figure out what are those irrational thoughts that are happening in your head. I'm afraid somebody in my family is going to get sick. I'm afraid we don't have enough money to feed our family. To try to soften some of those thoughts and slow them down and see if you can replace them with something else. Like, I am worried that my family will get sick, but we're going to do everything we can to help make sure that we're safe. If we are low on money, that we will figure out ways to help solve this. Taking it slower, being able to understand where that fear or that anxiety is coming from, maybe some things that will be helpful for you. So I hope that over the next few hours or days that you all are able to take those thoughts of worry or your fear or anxiety and kind of slow it down a little bit and help start feeling like you have control over it rather than it having control over you. Thanks so much, guys.